Okay, you lot. So we have a new game coming up, and that is Rememento White Shadow. Now, if you have clicked on this video, you're probably wondering what the game is all about, as well as the release date of the game. And I know there has been some rumors about when the game is releasing based on some comments that the developers made, right? So as someone who has been playing this game in the Korean server from day one and keeping up with the news on the forums, right, I will try to explain not only the release month that they mentioned, which is May, but also try to pinpoint the exact date of when it happens based on the recent patch history, right? And after that, I'll showcase you a little bit of content from the game itself. I am someone who is considered like an endgame player. I've managed to finish in the top 50 on the last PvP season, and I have completed all PvE content currently available, so I'll showcase all of the content in there as well. But first, let's talk about the release date, right? So if you were interested in playing this game, you most likely have seen this comment being posted on either some of the Rememento videos released up until today, right? Not on my channel, but I've seen this same exact comment on several older Rememento videos, and this is from the official Rememento Korean account, right? So they basically give a copy-paste response to all of the people, and they mention this. Thanks to the love from players like you, we're excited to announce that we're preparing for a global launch this May. So pretty much this confirms the month, right? But I'll explain why I think a specific day in May will be the release date, right? So currently, the game in the Korean version is on version 1.3.1, right? And the way versions work at the moment, right? The game released on the 18th of December in 2024 in the Korean server, right? After that, the developers mentioned that there will be a small patch every 3 weeks and a bigger patch every 6 weeks. So essentially, we get 3 weeks, smaller patch, which usually just resets some content as well as introduces a new unit. And then after another 3 weeks, we get a big patch, which again, resets content, introduces another unit, but also adds more stuff, right? So we've gotten like more PvE dungeons, we've gotten more units, we've gotten a whole different rework of like gear crafting, all of that stuff, right? So basically just a bigger patch, and these happen every 6 weeks with the exception of the very first patch for version 1.1, which was supposed to happen in 6-week intervals but happened after 5 weeks, and they did give a notice to this. But after that, ever since version 1.1, the big patches happened every 6 weeks, right? And with the help of our lovely AI, we can somewhat calculate what the release date would be. So the game launched on December 18th. After 5 weeks, we got a major patch, version 1.1, on January 22nd. And trust me, I confirmed these dates based on the forums as well as like the patch notices of when they released, right? So all of the release dates up until here are correct. So 1.2 launched exactly 6 weeks after the big patch was on March 5th. 1.3 updated quite recently, it was last Wednesday, and that was the April 16th. And version 1.4, which is essentially should be happening around May 28th, unless they push it back or forward a little bit more, right? Essentially version 1.4, if we go by 6-week intervals, should happen on the 28th. And because they mentioned the global is gonna be releasing on May, this is most likely the day that when it will happen, right? Because there is a small patch happening on May 7th, but that one usually does not introduce any new content apart from resetting like the Tower of Ascension as well as introducing a new unit. May 28th is when a big patch will happen, and version 1.4 was already rumored to be a release in the Japanese and Asian regions, and since they did confirm that the release is happening in May, May 28th is, if not the latest date, right, it's most likely gonna be the day when the game will release, right? Of course, it is not confirmed, and nothing is confirmed apart from that it is happening in May. But if we go based on the patch history, and they did keep up with the history so far pretty well, based on version 1.2, 1.3, and they did give us a notice on 1.1 like a week in advance, we can assume that the game is most likely, like 80% sure, that it is releasing on May 28th, right? Okay, and here we are at the launch screen of the game, right? I do want to mention one thing. It does have a soundtrack, right? You're not hearing it at the moment, but it does have a soundtrack. The soundtrack is very similar to Wuthering Waves, right? It has the sort of like a dark feeling. I would love to play the soundtrack for you. Unfortunately, the last time I tried to record a video with the soundtrack on, it got copyrighted. It got copyrighted for like a few songs, definitely not the whole soundtrack. So I'm not sure whether it's like a false claim happening or anything like that, right? It copyrighted some sort of a song from like 2024, which I think is way before, or I mean way after the game definitely had a soundtrack, right? I'm guessing the soundtrack is much older than the song that copyrighted it. But yeah, I mean, it's a really good soundtrack in my opinion. Unfortunately, I cannot play it, right? Because it just catches in the YouTube filter. So yeah, I'm gonna lay over some other music from another game or something like that, right? Maybe a Wuthering Waves soundtrack, I don't know, just to match the feel a bit. But yeah, this is the daily pass, by the way. And yeah, we're in game. I'm gonna showcase you not just like random gameplay that you can see from like tutorial stages or all of that, right? I'm gonna show you like actual end game gameplay. This includes PvE, pretty much all of the PvE modes that exist, and a little bit of PvP as well, right? So I'm gonna of course start with PvE, and that will be, or you know what, even better, first I'm gonna explain what sort of PvE and PvP modes we even have, right? So the first thing we have is various dungeons where you can use stamina, right? So I'm not gonna go too detailed on those. I'm only gonna showcase the hardest one because I'm a bit real, right? 3 out of 4 of these are super easy. The only difficult part is the equipment dungeons, right? So it has 2 different bosses. I'll showcase one of them, right? So we have 4 ways to spend stamina based on the resources you need. Then we have these 2 different modes. So this is essentially like the Trial of Ascension. I don't know how you want to call it. For me, right, from any different game, I played Summoner's War, that's closest to it. So it is called Trial of Ascension. It might be called different in other games, but essentially it has 2 towers, right? It has a 1 tower with 30 levels for the easy mode, which is on the left side. And then it has a hard mode on the right side, right? So the easy mode features 30 levels and the hard mode features 10 levels. You do have various quests. Usually the quests are essentially you can complete a level, right? I'll go more in depth on this later, but you can complete a level and you can get additional stars based on the conditions. So first condition is not losing any units, then completing in 50 turns, and then completing in 30 turns, right? And you get various rewards based on that. Then another mode we have is this. I don't exactly know the name of this. I think it's called like Abyss of something, right? It was recently introduced in this patch of version 1.3, so it just came out a few days ago. I did manage to complete it fully, right? It's not too difficult, I would say. This is sort of like a rogue-like RPG mode, if you can call it like that, right? Essentially, you pick a team. There are 30 stages in total, and after completing each stage, you get a certain bonus that you can choose from 3 options. There are a bunch of options, as you can see, the library is quite full of them. And as you power up, the enemies get more difficult, and you try to beat all 30 levels with the same team, right? Now another PvE mode we have is the Subjugation. This one only resets every 42 days, so essentially the Trial of Ascension resets every small patch, which is every 3 weeks. Subjugation only resets every 6 weeks. And this one is another piece of PvE content where essentially you have 10 waves, right? And you have 10 waves of each element, and you try to beat a boss in order to get some rewards. So you can pick one team. You can continue from the level where you left off. For example, as you can see, I completed all 10 levels of the 4 elements. I'm still struggling with the water one, right? But I completed 9 levels, which means I can enter into... yeah, more on this later. More on this later. Okay, so as I was saying, right? Essentially, as you can see, I start up from wave 10. You don't actually have to go all the way back from level 1 and you work your way like that. But I'll showcase that in a bit. I just wanted to explain how this works. I'm gonna go for all content one by one, right? And yeah, that's for PvE content. The last content we have is, there is of course regular hunting, which I don't even think I need to showcase, because if you've seen any Rememento video, you've probably seen it, but I'll add a short clip to it, right? But yeah, the last mode we have is of course a PvP. So currently we only have the regular PvP arena. There is a live PvP arena planned for the version 1.4, I believe, or either 1.5, so it will come most likely with the global update, but if not, it should come a version after that, right? And with the regular PvP, at the moment, I haven't pushed in this season too much, right? I did push in the last season. If I don't forget, I'll add a screenshot right here to showcase that I did get a rank that is, I believe, somewhere around like the top 50 mark. But yeah, the way PvP works is also very similar. You have your own team, you have a defense team, and you essentially see the teams of your opponents and you pick to fight that. Now, the cool thing about PvP in high level, right, is up until I believe Diamond 1, right, you see all of the enemy teams. Once you go above 2000 ratings, all of the teams are partly hidden, right? So if we look at the top person, for example, you'll notice that all of the teams will look like this. You only see the first 2 units, and then the rest of the units are hidden, which in my opinion makes it much more difficult on the attacker side, right? Because you don't know who you're fighting. And it does make PvP much more fun, right? Because when you see the enemy team fully, right, it is very easy to play around it, right? Because the AI that they have isn't too great, right? And if you see the whole PvP team, you can easily pick some counter units and completely demolish them. Attackers have a very favorable sort of like attackers are heavily favored compared to people on defense up until you are not able to see the defenses that people use, right? So yeah, I'll showcase PvP in a bit. Let's start with some PvE content in more depth, right? Okay, so to start off, I'll just showcase just the regular map exploration, right? A lot of the like objectives I've already gathered, at least like the main ones, so I'll just showcase how fighting in the wilderness looks like, right? And you will see these monsters all around the map, right? They're definitely not too there. You can see them in the minimap on the top left as well. And if you do hit them, you will start a fight with them. I'm not even sure if my units are ruined here. I'm gonna go for full order for this one. And the way it works is essentially the amount of enemies you hit while exploring is the amount of enemies you will fight. If you look on the top left corner, you will see wave 1 out of 2. And as I was hitting the little... Who is that? Like hedgehog or whatever, I don't know. Or a mole, I guess. As I was hitting it, he was connected to another unit with this yellow line. And if they are connected with a yellow line, this essentially means that you will be fighting multiple enemies at once to save some time, right? If they weren't connected, you would only fight one wave and be done with it. And the rewards that you get from these little random encounters are essentially some gold coins as well as materials to evolve your units, right? And yeah, as soon as we finish the fight, you'll see that they drop a fixed amount of coins, and the materials are a bit RNG, but they're definitely not too rare. I would say you get them like 50, maybe 60% of the time, so definitely won't be an issue farming those, right? And yeah, as we finish the fight, you'll see we got 200 XP, which actually doesn't really mean much anymore for me since all my units are maxed. We got 550 coins and we got 6 materials for some of the characters, right? So if I look at characters, they do have 80 levels. If they are not maxed out, you would be getting XP for those, right? But since mine are all maxed out, so unfortunately I don't get any of that. You also get some materials for evolution. So if I quickly showcase, of course, I do get a login bug, which has been happening quite a bit since the recent update. I hope they try to fix it a bit, but yeah. If we look at materials, you also get these like materials that you can use to evolve your units, right? And you of course get some gold coins. So at first, right, hunting these monsters will be very, very important. But once your main core units are evolved, honestly, you definitely won't need to farm that much, right? I don't think I farmed, apart from like accidentally hitting or needing to go to some specific part and having to encounter them, I don't think I've farmed these monsters for like over 2 months by now, right? They're definitely not that important anymore, and once you max out your units, they really lose a lot of value. The only condition where I would farm is if they dropped more coins, because coins will be the big issue in the end. But yeah, overall, there are a lot of units like this, right? You can find them quite often, right? As you can see, they're definitely not to their hair every around the corner. But yeah, overall, regular map exploration, it's fun to find like chests and stuff. You can see that there are like bunch of chests for each region, puzzles, droplets, I forgot what these are called, right? And these are different for each region, so there's a lot of exploration to be done, right? These monsters definitely won't be it, right? Exploration part is all about like chests, puzzles, and these. The rest is whatever, right? And now, because I am energy capped, just to use up some stamina, right, I'm gonna go into one of the dungeons, and this is one of the equipment farming dungeons. Essentially, this is the only place where you can get red tier like legendary equipment, right? And the cool thing about using stamina, right, is while there is no quick battle where you can just quickly use up energy by completing the stage before and then just doing it instantly, right? You do have an option to use up to 120 stamina, right? And this applies to all dungeons, so different dungeons have different costs. Some dungeons have 10 costs, some dungeons have 20, and this one, being the most expensive, has 30 cost per entry. So you can use up to 120 for each fight, right? So since you get around like over 200 stamina daily, you will be able to quickly clear out all of your stamina in probably no more than 10 minutes, right? And yeah, when it comes to stamina dungeons, right, like content that uses stamina, equipment farming is definitely gonna be one of the difficult ones, right? The rest of the content is quite easy. And yeah, for this particular dungeon, for example, the boss does have 2 stages. So as you can see, I am about to beat the first stage, but she will sort of like evolve into a much stronger form, right? I do have a team that can already do it on auto. I have to say that in the beginning, you can complete it, the hardest stage of this dungeon, for example, on manual, probably like a good week into the game, maybe 2 weeks, right? On auto, it's a whole different story, right? On auto, I have struggled with this dungeon even up until like a month ago, right? After some units released. So it's definitely not too easy to do it on auto, but you can do it quite easy on manual. I will have sort of like guides and themes for all of the dungeons closer towards the release date, so if you are interested in following the Memento content, feel free to subscribe, right? I'll definitely be making a lot of content on it, even before it releases, right? But yeah, as you can see, we're on the second form, and the approach I'm doing for this dungeon is sort of like a continuous damage approach. So this character right here, she applies a lot of bleeding effects, which will eventually take the boss down quite a bit. Now, they did nerf bleeding effects quite significantly. They were much stronger before, which allowed you to do this dungeon in like day 1, day 2 sometimes, but yeah, they nerfed it a bit, and I feel like it's in a very balanced state at the moment. This does have some drawbacks, but it does have some strengths as well. For example, the way they made dots is they cannot do more damage than the attack stat of the unit that did it, right? So essentially, all of the damage from dots, as soon as the boss moves, let me wait for that. Can we see how much damage it does? 1188. So that means that this is the same amount of attack that my second character has, right? If she had higher attack, her dots would do a little bit more damage. If she had lower attack, the dots would do significantly lower damage, right? So it's a cool way of doing it, I guess. It's still pretty balanced because these units don't need like anything such as crit damage, crit rate, all of that, right? So you can still get a very high attack stat even while keeping these units quite tanky, right? But yeah, we finished off the stage. As you can see, not an issue at all, right? I have worked on this team for quite a while, so I managed to make a team that is, so far, I believe it is 100% safe. I haven't seen it lose once, but hey, time will tell. Maybe it will eventually fail and I'll have to work it a little bit, right? But yeah, as you can see, next turn the boss should die, right? A lot of the very annoying ads are attacking me here, but yeah, all of my units are essentially support units that empower my second unit, which is a daughter, right? And it's all about her moving as much as possible. And yeah, there we go, boss is dead. You'll see that from the rewards, right? The first one is an event reward. There's usually an event happening at all times, so you'll always get these. You get some coins, and for this particular dungeon you get a lot of equipment. So for each entry you get 2 equipment pieces. As you can see, you get 8 in total. And the split is around like 50-50 when it comes to getting yellow tier gear and the red tier gear, right? So yellow tier I already ignored because at this point yellow tier is a big downgrade for me, and for when it comes to like red tier, I usually just look at which subsets are somewhat usable and keep those while selling the rest, right? So what I would do is I usually just lock the gear that I think I will use, and the rest I leave it because I'll just feed it later on, right? So yeah, when it comes to like dailies and stamina usage, these are how the dungeons work, right? And next up we have the Tower of Ascension, the Trial of Ascension, whatever you want to call it, right? And by the way, I didn't mention this, right? But what I really like about this game is that PvE content, especially this sort of like seasonal PvE content such as Trial of Ascension, it's hard. Like, it's not a cake. What? Not a cakewalk, not a walk in the park. I don't know. Essentially, yeah, content is very hard, right? It's doable. As you can see, I have managed to complete it. This is actually the first time I managed to complete it because the easy tower, okay, that one is free, right? That one, as long as you have a living brain and 4 level 80 units, you will be able to do that on 90 stars. Second tower, that is no joke. The conditions here are super difficult, and every stage you are fighting a boss, which makes it quite difficult, right? So I'm just gonna go into a random stage. I'm probably gonna lose, right? However, I do want to showcase just an example of how this works, right? So I'm gonna leave it on order. I don't know if it will win on order, but I just wanna showcase how it works. So essentially, this one also has 2 stages, right? As you can see, wave 1 out 2. And when it comes to this dungeon, your goal is to not only clear the boss, right, but also meet the conditions. Now, the main reward you will get will be from just clearing the boss, right? Clearing the boss will give you essentially like an energy piece, which you can convert to 100 stamina, as well as some equipment power-up material, right? Yeah, I think I'm gonna lose this actually. And then there's 3 additional requirements. As you can see here, the first one is about not losing any of your units, right? So if you don't die once, you will receive 1 additional star. If you complete the whole level in less than 120 turns, you'll get a 2nd star, and then if you complete a level 80, you will get a 3rd star. Yeah, as you can see, this content will not be doable on auto. I'll just straight up say it, right? It's difficult. But let me maybe showcase on easy mode, right? Because I did complete this on manual. I didn't record it on manual, so it's a bit difficult at the moment. I'm just showcase like a hardest level from this. Let me just pick proper units real quick, something like that, and that should work maybe. Oh, you know what? Let me quickly just like that. Okay, this should maybe work. As you can see, for the easy tower, right, the conditions are much easier. So essentially, this first one is still not losing any of your units, right? But the second and third conditions are only beating the level in less than 50 turns and then less than 30 turns, right? And as long as you beat it like that, you get additional stars, and based on those stars, the reward you get will increase, right? The main reward is still just for clearing a lot of the like actual base content, but if you do manage to get some stars, you can get... I just realized I think my unit does not have any equipment, right? But I'm just gonna leave it. I don't care, right? I just wanted to showcase how it works. Essentially, you go for these runs, you try to complete them with as many stars as you can get, right? And if I quit and just showcase the rewards for the stars, so the base rewards in the normal tower are usually like coins, power-up materials, all of that, right? Let me quickly showcase. You get the idea, right? The fights are somewhat similar. So every stage you get like 10k coins, 3 power-up materials, 3, and then every 5 stages you get a higher reward like that, right? So as you can see, the normal tower is filled with these, and as you complete these, you get the premium currency. You can get a total of 750 from the normal tower, and then you can get this is essentially 100 stamina, right? The rewards are the same for all of them, so you can get 10 stamina items that give 100 energy each, 30 equipment power materials, and on top of that you can get another 500 premium currency. So if you complete the whole tower, that's essentially like 8 premium summons that you are looking at. And next up we have the little abyss mode, right? So this one is quite new. I haven't familiarized myself too well with all of the like quirks about this mode, right? I did complete all of the 30 levels once, so I will showcase how it works. Let me just quickly switch my equipment. Yeah, as you can see, I was doing a unit without any equipment, so I was somewhat destined to lose, right? The cool thing about equipment, right, compared to a lot of other games that I like, is you can move it freely without any cost, right? It does not cost any coins, it does not cost any stamina, anything like that to move your equipment. So you can, for example, if you're struggling with a level, you can just move your equipment all to a different target and reuse it later on, right? So if we enter with this one, I already started it a bit for the showcase, but I'm just gonna continue it, right? I'm currently on wave 12, and as you can see, you get 3 different buff options. I'm not gonna translate them too much for you at the moment, right? But yeah, some of them work for a specific element only. For example, this one, as you can see, works only for dark elements and it gives speed to dark element units. Unfortunately, my units are all water, so that one is already out of the options. So I'm gonna pick for this one, right? I don't really know what it does. I do it just for showcase. And yeah, with this one, you do have only one wave that you have to complete. There's no sort of like requirements to complete it within a certain amount of turns or making sure that no one dies, anything like that, right? As long as you beat the level, you are able to progress further. And as you can see, at wave 12, it's already on the easier side, right? At my current progress, right, I'd say this gets difficult maybe at like wave 25 and above. But yeah, as you can see, you complete the level, you get another buff, and you continue as it goes, right? We can go into another level. But yeah, again, like if you have a proper team, this definitely won't be too difficult even on order until like wave 20, wave 25 maybe, right? I think the only wave I had to actually manual was the wave 30, right? So yeah, if you are of course a bit more early game, you will struggle a bit more. You may not be able to complete even like wave 25, wave 20. There's really nothing wrong with it because the rewards you get from this are not that extraordinary, right? Essentially, as you can see, I collected everything, but you get 2 different types of materials. So this is material used for crafting gear, and this is material used for modifying your gear a bit. So you don't get any like premium coins or anything like that from this one, so it's purely for upgrading your equipment. Now I know that this one resets every week, so you will be getting quite a lot of these rewards as you go along, right? I believe the patch happens every Wednesday night, so yeah, as you can see, we have 1 day and 10 hours left at the moment. But yeah, overall, this one, probably one of the more fun modes. It's just a bit of a shame that the rewards from it are not exactly the best, right? But yeah, so we covered the stamina dungeons, we covered both the trial and abyss, and I want to cover the last PvE, like the major PvE content, and that is the subjugation, right? Okay, so when it comes to subjugation, as shown earlier, there are a total of 5 different levels, right? Each level corresponds to an element, so essentially this one, the boss will be of water element, this one will be a fire element, so on and so on, right? Usually the bosses changed based on seasons, right? So essentially last patch, I think this mode was introduced in version 1.2, so we already had one rotation previously. It was a different monster, essentially they rotate monsters. I don't know if they will repeat the monsters, but I do know that they will change after each major patch, right? And your goal in here is to beat all 10 levels. Again, no sort of requirements of not having to lose any units or completing a certain amount of turns. As long as you complete the waves, you will be able to get rewards. And for the rewards, as you can see, for the first 8 waves, you get some power-up materials as well as premium currency. You can get 200 from each level, which means in total you can get 1000 premium currency, which is just over 6 premium gacha pulls, right? And for the last 2 levels, those are replaced by coins. I'm assuming they only expect most players to complete only up to level 8 and leaving that level 9 and level 10 as coin rewards for those who really want to push it without forcing people to just struggle. Because yes, here's the deal, as I said before, PvE content here is proper difficult, right? I think to complete all 4 of these, I've sat for like maybe 5 to 6 hours yesterday just thinking of teams that will work, right? And yeah, I still haven't completed the water one. I'll try to complete it live right here. We'll see, maybe I'll lose, maybe I'll die, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know what will happen. I still haven't figured out a clean strategy here. I don't know if this team will work, but essentially, yeah, if you want to reach for those like high levels, you certainly will need to do a manual mode, right? I'll tell you right there. Auto will work, even with like the best teams, auto will work for maybe like the first 7 to 8 levels, right? After that, you're gonna have to manual, otherwise there's just absolutely no chance you're gonna win this. Right, but yeah, the mode is very similar. There's only one boss. I don't quite remember if there were multiple bosses in the previous rotation, right? For some reason I thought there were, but yeah, I don't know. I don't remember it exactly since I've done it quite a while ago, which was like probably like 2 weeks ago since the last time I did it. But yeah, essentially in here, you're trying to... Oh, I misclicked a bit. Good thing I still move, but yeah, essentially your goal is to just not die, because if one of your units dies, it's essentially like a game over for your run, alright? But yeah, this one I have to go manually. My strategy here is to really just keep up with the buffs and constantly provoke the boss. As you can see, this buff, debuff right here means that is a provoke, which disables essentially all active skills that the boss has, and he is forced to use his basic attack on me, which means that I'm able to do or not able to do, but he is able to do way less damage to me, because a lot of the AoE attacks that he has are super deadly, right? Majority of them at level 9, level 10 can easily one-shot your units, right? So have to be careful in that regard. But yeah, this is essentially how it works. I probably won't showcase it until the very end, right? Since really it's quite repetitive. As you can see, I'm just trying to cycle a lot of skills, trying to do a lot of damage, right? Yada yada. Nothing too crazy, right? But yeah, this is how it works. And once you complete it, you don't get any like stage rewards. You only get the rewards from the achievement of a certain level, right? One-time rewards. This is of course a dungeon that is free to enter. You can enter as many times as you want, right? The cool thing I've noticed about this is there are no like limits to any entry, right? Like you can enter majority of the content as much as you want, including the stamina dungeons, right? As long as you have stamina saved up, you are able to enter majority of it. But yeah, as you can see, I didn't provoke him, and already the attack is way more deadly, right? So yeah, that's the showcase. I'll try to finish the level off camera. If I come close to completing it, I'll keep it in, right? Well, unfortunately, I was very close, but yeah, my damage unit died. I misplayed a bit, but yeah, I'll try to get that level completed. But yeah, essentially, when it comes to PvE content, this is a showcase of all of it, right? Of course, there's stuff like the story mode, the various little dungeons, explorations, all of that, right? I'm not covering those since those are very sort of like self-explanatory, right? Now what I want to cover is probably gonna be the main focus of this game as the time progresses, and that is the PvP aspect of it, right? Okay, so the way PvP works in this game, at least like this mode, I'm not talking about the real-time arena, which isn't released yet, but it should be released quite soon, right? So when it comes to the rewards, essentially every day you have up to 10 of these tokens to collect, right? And you can get 1 token from losing and 2 tokens from winning any fight, right? You can fight players if you don't want to push your rank. You can just fight some NPCs. These are extremely easy and can be ordered without any issues at all, right? They have like very low speed, so you're able to easily outspeed them, right? But yeah, you can collect up to 10 tokens per day, and every week you are able to collect 200 premium currency after doing 15 fights, right? Regardless whether you win or lose, as long as you do 15 fights a week, you will be able to collect all the rewards. So even if you're someone who isn't interested in PvP at all, right, you can just stay at low rank, you can just fight against these. These fights will count towards both of the goals, and you're able to easily collect pretty much all of the rewards except for the season ending rewards right here, right? Of course, like if you're staying at low rank, you will get a little bit less crystals. If you're staying at a high rank, you're gonna get more crystals, you're gonna get some limited pets, right? And these limited pets do have a little bit higher speed, right? So let me just showcase one of the platforms. So as you can see, the rest of the mounts have speeds of 10 and 12.5 meters per second. The premium mount that I got from the legendary award actually has slightly higher speed. I mean, the difference is very small, right? But overall, it's pretty cool, right? They look really cool. So yeah, I do enjoy collecting them. How PvP works is essentially up until 2000 ratings, you can see the opponent's team fully. After 2000 rating, you only see 2 of the units that the opponent has, while the other 2 are a mystery, which adds a little bit of an RNG element to the fights, which I really like, right? Because once you see the full team, trust me, it's super easy to beat it by just simply picking some counter units to it, right? So I'm gonna build a team, I'm gonna showcase how they work, right? And we'll see whether you would enjoy the PvP in this mode or not, right? Okay, so I'm gonna build a very sort of like basic team for this mode, right? I must say right now, this team won't work in high levels, but it will work for a showcase in here, right? So I'm gonna pick, let me see, I do want to pick a unit, or maybe an enemy that does not have, I think I could beat this one, yeah? Let me try this one. The way it works is essentially it's like the same turn-based battle. You can see your turns as well as the opponent turns on the left side. So essentially, this shows the movement of all of the units and their little speed right here, right? Oh wait, I just realized I might lose this. I might lose this. Let me try to salvage this. I think if my Libertas doesn't miss the skill, I should be okay here. Although I won't do damage. Okay, we good. We move. Yeah, we should be okay. We should be okay here. This should kill the DPS unit, and yep. So yeah, there's a lot of different strategies. What I like about this game's PvP, right? It has, yeah, as you can see, if you're playing the ranked mode, you gain rating, you get 2 of these, right? I'll showcase as you can get the same 2 little of these coins or whatever they're called in the PvE mode as well, right? You don't get any rating from this one, but you will get the currency. The way PvP works is essentially it's a battle against AI controlled player team, right? And yeah, as you can see, these ones are super easy, no rating, but you still get the same rewards from there, right? And yeah, you can set up, you can modify your teams as you please at any time. You can also change your defense at any time, right? The cool system about PvP, right, that I really like compared to other games is the way the ranking works, right? So you are not limited by the amount of fights you can do, right? You can do every day, you can do an infinite amount of fights as long as you're not hitting the same enemy. So essentially now, right, for today, I've already hit this player, right? So I can refresh the list, I can fight anyone who I want, right? As you can see, I can refresh the list every 10 seconds, so even if you only fight one person from the list, or maybe not even, you see that you're not able to beat anyone, right? You can keep refreshing this list to find new opponents. The one thing you will never find is the same person in the list, right? I will be able to find that person tomorrow, right? But you can only find the same person once per day. Whether you win or lose against them, once you fought that person, he is permanently out of your list until the next day ticks over, right? And yeah, as you can see, the fights don't cost any currency, the refreshers don't cost any currency, so if you want to climb, you can climb very high, and you will see that especially in the leaderboards, the ranking differences are quite crazy, especially at the top, right? And really the ranking depends 70% on how much you are willing to push and 30% based on your units, right? Because even if your units aren't like super amazing, right? For example, my units, they only have like 1 or 2 dupe upgrades. The equipment is definitely nothing too crazy. If you dedicate enough time, you will be able to finish at relatively high ranks. Of course, you still need some good equipment, right? It doesn't have to be like super top incredible tier, but as long as you have good equipment and you know what you are doing, you are able to push into relatively high ranks, which I really love about this game, right? And yeah, that's pretty much the showcase of all of the gameplay content that is available in Rememento. Now, of course, there are some small little additions, right? For example, the relationship status, right? This one gives you some rewards, it gives you some bonus stats for all of the units that you have, right? There's of course a lot of events. As you can see, we currently have a login event, which gives us a little bit of gacha pulls. I don't know if this will be permanent, right? But yeah, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff. For example, after each big update, there is a whole different event story added to here with a lot of rewards, skins, all of that, right? There's a lot to explore. There are some crazy skins, by the way. Okay, this one looks like a homeless person, but let me just find some. Let me find something good. Okay, I found something good. This is already like a very good skin, right? But we can push it further. We can push it further, my friends. So yeah, skins exist, and they're very horny. I'll give you that much. You can buy majority of the skins with like IRL shop, and yeah. Overall, really enjoying the game so far. Now, I do have to say, right, this might have been a more positive video. There is a lot of drama happening around this game after the latest version 1.3 release, which happened last week, right? So we'll see how the developers respond, but yeah, I'ma just say it like it is. At the moment, right, the situation after the last update and especially the global launch is not looking good, right? There is a lot of drama. Korean players are quitting en masse. There is a lot of drama. I would cover the drama, right? And I plan on covering the drama in maybe like a day or two. I still want to give some time for the developers to respond because last week they were mostly fixing bugs. So yes, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt that they didn't have a chance to respond. But if they don't respond within this week, honestly, for global, the game should be somewhat okay, right? It should release in a good state. For Korea, this might be a death sentence for Korea, right? If they don't respond and don't fix some of the issues that are happening. And I will cover majority of the drama in a future video probably in a few days. I still want to give them some time to see what they do, right, before I make a video lightly shitting on them. But yeah, overall, the Memento, very cool game, right? Since we do have those event rewards, we might as well do a little 10 gacha pull. Why not, right? I didn't go too much into stuff like the story, the gacha, right? That stuff, again, like for story, it's all in Korean, right? Unfortunately, like, as much as I would like to just give you a review of the story, it's a lot of pain to translate. I can only say that the story is relatively long, and based on the few translations that I did, it does seem interesting. Like, it goes into like relationship stuff, it goes into all of these dark themes, losing your friends, allies, foes along the way, right? All of that stuff. But yeah, mostly I wanted to cover the gameplay. In the next video I will cover more of the drama. We'll see how they respond, right? And yeah, that's about it. Hope you enjoyed. Please make sure to subscribe if you want to stay tuned for more Rememento comment coming soon before the release of the game. And yeah, peace.